Assalamualaikum, grade 9. How are you? Faiza Nadeem here with your English lessons. And I wish, I hope, I pray, along with everybody who's here, that all of you are healthy, wealthy and safe. All of you are attending your schools regularly, enjoying your hangouts, enjoying your eat-outs. But among all this activity, do not forget your academics. Academics are very essential. They are very important. That's why you are compelled to go to school. That's why you are compelled to study. All right. First thing first, what we are going to do today? Today we shall do Daffodils, a poem that is written by William Wordsworth. So let's start the poem. जी मेरा बेटा और मेरी बिटिया. What is the board telling you? The board is telling you that we are going to do Unit 5, Daffodils, which is written by William Wordsworth, who was born in 1770 and he died in 1850. William Wordsworth was also known as the poet of nature. He spoke about nature a lot. Most of his poems are based on nature, in which he has used a lot of imagery and from which all of you can derive a lot of content and happiness. So William Wordsworth, the poet of nature, has spoken a lot about the bliss you might find in the simple natural scenery. बड़ा ही important poet है ये, और इसकी poems जो हैं वो English literature का एक बहुत essential part है, right? फर्स्ट थिंग फर्स्ट, सबसे पहले हम करेंगे वोकैबुलरी और ट्रांसलेशन, क्योंकि आपको मालूम है कि आपका सब्जेक्टिव पेपर का एक सवाल आपको ट्रांसलेशन करने पर फोर्स करता है, कंपेल करता है. वो एक सवाल आपकी ट्रांसलेशन से रिलेटेड होता है. You'd get any of the 3 paragraphs from your entire textbook and you are expected to translate them in Urdu. And you are given a choice of attentive 2 out of 3. और उन 2 paragraphs में से each paragraph is carrying 4 marks. So your 8 marks are at stake unless and until you translate the paragraphs in Urdu. ये जो Daffodils है ये बहुत important poem है. Usually इसी की summary आती है आपके एग्जाम में. Because मैंने आपसे कहा है कि Daffodils is one of the classic poems written by William Wordsworth. वो कहते हैं कि ये एक छोटा सा झुंड था, हार्डली एक बुश थी, जिसके ऊपर 18 से 20 Daffodils थे, जिनके ऊपर Wordsworth ने इतनी खूबसूरत पोम लिखी है. पोम आपको बाद में एक्सप्लेन करूंगी, पहले वोकैबुलरी और ट्रांसलेशन. वॉन्डर, इधर उधर फिरना, क्लाउड, बादल, वेल, वादी, एट वंस, फॉरम, क्राउड, हुजूम, बिसाइड के साथ, फ्लटर, फड़फड़ाना, कॉन्टिन्यूस, मुसलसल, मिल्की वे, कहकशां, नेवर एंडिंग, कभी ना खत्म होने वाली, बे, दरियाओं के दरमियान फासला, स्प्राइटली, खुशी से, आउटेड, मादी, गेज इन द दिल, जॉकेंड, मसरूर, गेज, गौर से देखना, ऑफन, अक्सर, वेकेंट, खाली, मूड, मिजाज, इनवर्ड, अंदरूनी, सॉलिट्यूड, तन्हाई, फिल, भरना, लोनली, अकेला, फ्लोट, बेजान शय का तैरना. ये थी वोकैबुलरी और मीनिंग्स of the first 2 stanzas. Let's move on to the next 2 stanzas, the vocabulary meaning of the next 2 stanzas. हिल्स, पहाड़ियां, होस्ट, मेजबान, गोल्डन, सुनहरी, बीनीथ के नीचे, ब्रीज, हल्की हवा, शाइन, चमकना, स्ट्रेच, फैलाना, मार्जिन, किनारा, टॉस, झूमना, लहर, वेव, स्पार्कल, दमकना, ग्ली, खुशी, कंपनी, सोहबत, वेल्थ, दौलत, काउच, पलंग, पेंसिव, उदास, फ्लैश अपॉन, जहन में तस्वीर की तरह आना, ब्लिस, तखय्युल की खुशी, pleasure, मुसरत. and daffodils are Arabi नरगिस. they are a kind of flowers, छोटे छोटे से होते हैं, येलो कलर के होते हैं, बहुत खूबसूरत फ्लावर्स होते हैं. अब मैं क्या करूंगी, अब मैं आपके लिए इस पोएम को रीड आउट करूंगी और साइड बाय साइड उसको पैराफ्रेज करूंगी. आपकी पोएम विल पॉप आउट ऑन द स्क्रीन एज आई विल रीड इट. आपने ये काम करना है कि पेंसिल्स हाथ में पकड़ लो और जब मैं उसको रीड और एक्सप्लेन कर रही हूँ साथ साथ हर स्टैंजा के उसकी एक्सप्लेनेशन लिख लो. उससे क्या होगा कि बाद में जब आप समरी लिखने लगोगे या आपको एज अ पैराफ्रेजिंग इसका कोई स्टैंजा आ जाएगा तो दैट विल बिकम ईजियर फॉर यू. सो आई एम गोइंग टू रीड एंड पैराफ्रेज द पोएम फॉर यू नाउ. This poem that I'm about to read is Daffodils, which is a classic poem written by William Wordsworth, and he has spoken about the happiness and bliss that he has found when he saw a bush of daffodils. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats o'er high vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line along the margins of the bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Alright, in stanza 1, the poet says that he was wandering, roaming about without any purpose. So he was roaming around without any purpose, the way the clouds roam on the sky. You have seen the clouds wandering on the sky, okay, without any purpose. The clouds move from here to there and there is no purpose for their movement. In the same manner, the poet William Wordsworth was wandering, going here and there without any reason, without any purpose. And he's speaking that just like the cloud, he was wandering or going over vales and hills. Right? He was passing through the valleys and he was going over the hills just because he had nothing to do and he had nothing in his mind. When all at once, when suddenly he saw a host of golden daffodils, huge bunch of golden colored daffodils. They were growing beside the lake and beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. यहाँ पर poet ने personification use की है. Obviously, the daffodils cannot flutter. Imagine my face as a flower and this as the branch. They were moving with the breeze like this. And this moment of the daffodils, the poet is referring to as fluttering and dancing. So the poet is saying that the daffodils were fluttering and they were dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine. They grow continuously. They were an endless lane. Just like the stars in the sky, they are endless. So the daffodils growing over there were endless as well. He couldn't even count them. Can you count the stars? No. So the poet was unable to count them as well. And twinkle on the Milky Way. Our galaxy is called as the Milky Way. You know that. And the stars, they twinkle and shine. So just like the twinkling of the stars, the fluttering of the daffodils was such that they seemed to wave, they seemed to dance, and they seemed to twinkle at the person who is watching them. Along the margins of a bay. Bay is what I have here right now translated you. When the two water bodies join and there is a strip of land between them, that strip of land is called as a bay, right? So they were dancing, they were growing, they were fluttering, and they were happily residing at the margin. Margin क्या होता है? Border of the bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance. He said that as soon as I looked at them once, I saw at least 10,000 in one glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Obviously, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. is also a sort of personification, right? यहाँ पे poet ने personify किया है daffodils को with the human's character trait. Obviously, the flowers cannot dance, but you and I can definitely dance. So, the poet has described or has similarized their movement with that of the dancing movement of a person. I'm moving on to the third stanza. The waves beside them dance, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. The waves were also dancing. So, there is another example of personification. The waves of the river, they were also dancing. But the dance of the daffodils were far better, far superior, right, than that of the waves. A poet could not but be gay. Gay means happy. So over here the poet is saying that the poet cannot be more happy than looking at this bright, beautiful scene in such a jocund company. Jocund means happy. The waves are happy, they are dancing. The flowers are happy, they are dancing. So the poet who derives his bliss from the natural scenes, the natural beauty, cannot be more happier than looking at this beautiful scene. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. He looked and looked and looked, and little did he think, he did not think for a moment that what a wealth he is getting there. What a wealth of bliss, a wealth of happiness he is getting by looking at those flowers. For oft, when on my couch I lie, oft is the short form of often. He is saying that often when I lie down in my couch, in vacant or in pensive mood. When I am in vacant means empty and pensive means thoughtful. When he has nothing in his mind, when his mind is empty of all the thoughts and he is lying in his couch, they flash upon the inward eye. Inward eye means imagination. The picture of the daffodils comes into his imagination at once. When he is sitting on his couch doing nothing, the picture of those daffodils, they appear in his imagination, which is the bliss of the solitude. Solitude means being all alone. So this is the happiness of being all alone, when you basically imagine the things that you have experienced in your past, that you have undergone in your past. So when you are all alone and you have a bliss in thinking about the things that have brought you happiness in your past. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dance with the daffodils. And then his heart is filled with pleasure and it dances with the daffodils. He finds pleasure in the scenery that he has seen. He has found pleasure with the dance of the daffodils. And whenever he is all alone, whenever he is sad, whenever he is in a pensive mood, thoughtful mood, or vacant, when he has nothing in his mind, the thought of those daffodils come over to him and fills his heart with eternal peace, with bliss, right? So this was the paraphrasing of the poem The Daffodils, which is written by William Wordsworth. What I am going to do now is I am going to read the glossary and construct sentences for you side by side. Why do we do glossary? Because glossary can come in your objective paper, right? So we are not going to overlook them. Plus the sentence construction. They can come from anywhere, right? So we are not going to ignore them either. We are going to construct sentences of each and every word that we are going to find in the specific unit. First is fluttering, moving in the air, flying. William Wordsworth enjoying the dance of the daffodils that were fluttering in the breeze. Glee, joy or happiness. I was filled with glee when I received my final result that was filled with all A stars, or when I acquired 95% in my exams. Host in large number. I accidentally hit a stone to the beehive and host of bees started to attack me. They are usually a swarm of bees, but you can say a host of bees. Jocund, happy. Whenever I sit in a thoughtful mood, the memories of me winning my tournaments, winning my speeches, winning my debate competitions bring me jocund company, right? Twinkle, shine with light that changes from bright to faint and faint to bright. I love counting the stars that twinkle at night. Pensive, thoughtful. My mother was in a very pensive mood as I have asked for something which was very expensive. Solitude, loneliness. In solitude or in company, we must remember that Allah Almighty is watching us always. Right? So this was the glossary. I have the vocabulary exercises for you. Let's move on to the vocabulary exercises that are present at the end of your unit. जी, एक्सरसाइज ए ने आपसे कहा था कि सिनोनिम्स ढूंढे. ये जो वर्ड्स इन्होंने दिए हैं, ये 3 वर्ड्स सौ के और ये 3 वर्ड्स शाइन के, उन्होंने आपसे कहा था कि इनके 3 सिनोनिम्स और लिख दीजिए. ठीक है, तो 100, ग्लैंस और ग्लेयर तो आपके पास पड़े हुए थे, हमने ऐड कर दिए लुक, स्टेयर और वॉच. इसी तरह से शाइन, ट्विंकल और स्पार्कल आपके पास थे, ग्लेयर, ग्लिटर और ब्लिंक हमने ऐड कर दिए. आपने क्या करना है, आपने इन हर वर्ड का एक सेंटेंस कंस्ट्रक्ट करना है. आपको ये मैं नहीं दे रही हूँ, ये बहुत आसान वर्ड्स हैं, यू विल हैव टू डू इट योरसेल्फ, राइट. उसके बाद आपकी एक्सरसाइज भी डील करी थी कॉनोटेशंस के साथ. कॉनोटेशंस क्या होते हैं? वर्ड विद सिमिलर मीनिंग्स. जैसे ये सारे कॉनोटेशंस है, ठीक है, एक वर्ड है वो मल्टीपल मीनिंग्स के साथ मल्टीपल प्लेसेस में यूज हो सकता है. Connotations are further subdivided into positive connotation और negative connotations. यानी कि if I am looking at you, ठीक है, I am smiling at you and looking at you, it's a positive connotation. But if I stare at you, I'm looking but I'm staring, that is a negative connotation. I hope you have got my point. ठीक है, एक word जिसको के meaning same है लेकिन एक जगह हम पॉजिटिवली यूज कर सकते हैं तो उसको हम कहेंगे कि वो उसका पॉजिटिव कॉनोटेशन है, और एक जगह हम उसको नेगेटिवली यूज कर सकते हैं, वो उसका नेगेटिव कॉनोटेशन है, राइट. उन्होंने आपको एक वर्ड बैंक दिया है और आपसे ये कहा है कि आपने आइडेंटिफाई करना है कि इसमें से पॉजिटिव कॉनोटेशंस कौन सी हैं और नेगेटिव कॉनोटेशंस कौन सी हैं. पॉजिटिव कॉनोटेशन है आपकी गेज और कलेक्ट, उसके अलावा शाइन, ये तीनों आपकी पॉजिटिव कॉनोटेशन है. यू गेज एट समथिंग विद अ ह्यूज स्माइल बिकॉज यू लाइक लुकिंग एट इट, ठीक है. और कलेक्ट, यू कलेक्ट थिंग्स एज अ हॉबी, ठीक है. यू कलेक्ट थिंग्स बट नॉट बेसिकली होर्ड देम अप. यू आर विलिंग टू शेयर, यू आर विलिंग टू शो. सो कलेक्ट इज ऑल्सो अ पॉजिटिव कॉनोटेशन. बट स्टेयर इज अ negative connotation. Your teacher stares at you when you are doing mischief, right? Your mother stares at you when you are misbehaving in front of the guests. And glare, your father glared at you when you were misbehaving, ठीक है. Your teacher glared at you when you were cheating in the exam. And hoard, hoard क्या होता है? hoard होता है चीजें छुपा के रखना so that no one else can use them, ठीक है. miserly usually चीजें होल्ड करते हैं, या फिर वो दुकानदार या फिर वो इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट जो चाहते हैं कि किसी चीज का रेट बढ़े, उसको होल्ड करके रख देते हैं कि जरूरत आई तो हम इसे निकालेंगे और डबल प्रॉफिट पे भेजेंगे, ठीक है. शाइन इज अ पॉजिटिव कॉनोटेशन. स्टार्स शाइन, your dress shines, your skin glows and shines. ठीक है? So it's a positive connotation. Again, I repeat, connotations are the word with similar meanings, but some of them can be positive and some of them can be negative, depending upon their usage in the sentence. अब उन्होंने आपसे कहा है कि ये जो आपके words हैं सारे 3, 4, 5, 6, इन 6 वर्ड्स के आपने सेंटेंस कंस्ट्रक्ट करने हैं, वो मैं आपके साथ अभी कंस्ट्रक्ट करती हूँ. गेज, गेज क्या था? पॉजिटिव कॉनोटेशन. ठीक है? I gazed at my new tab in surprise. Yani he was so happy that he got a new tab that he kept on gazing at it. Stare. Stare क्या है आपका? Negative connotation. ठीक है? My mom stared at me when I misbehaved in front of guests. होता है ना ऐसे, मेहमानों के सामने जो चीज़ मम्मा ने सर्व की हो, आप उसको खाना शुरू कर दें तो मम्मा आपको फिर स्टेयर करती है कि भाग जाओ यहाँ से, बाद में खाना, है ना? शाइन. The stars twinkle and shine in the dark night, not on the dark sky, in the dark night. ग्लेयर, ग्लेयर क्या है? घूरना बुरे तरीके से. और कौन सी कॉनोटेशन है? नेगेटिव कॉनोटेशन. तो क्या सेंटेंस बनाओगे? The principal glared at Zed as he was caught cheating. अब हम अपने आप को नहीं गेट कॉट कराते, हम जैद को गेट कॉट कराते हैं. ठीक है? Collect. My hobby is to collect stamps. ठीक है? कलेक्ट का मतलब है जमा करना, और मेरी हॉबी है स्टैम्प्स को कलेक्ट करना. होर्ड. The merchant hoarded sugar to be sold at a higher price. उससे क्या किया? उसने शुगर होर्ड कर ली, जमा कर ली कि मैं बाद में ज्यादा कीमत पे बेचूंगा. सही. ये थी आपकी पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव कॉनोटेशंस. क्विक रिकैपिचुलेशन कर लें आज के लेसन का. आज हमने क्या किया? आज हमने की विलियम वर्ड्सवर्थ की सुपर 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 क्लासिक पोएम द डैफोडिल्स. हमने उसकी वोकैबुलरी ट्रांसलेशन की, हमने पोएम पढ़ी, समझी, पैराफ्रेजिंग की, ग्लॉसरी और उसके सेंटेंसेस डिस्कस किए, वोकैबुलरी एक्सरसाइजेस की जिसमें था आपके नेगेटिव और पॉजिटिव कॉनोटेशंस और आपके सिनोनिम्स, सब हमने डिस्कस किए. और कॉनोटेशंस के सेंटेंसेस बनाए। इस पूरे लेसन को अच्छे से प्रिपेयर करना फॉर द एग्जाम, ठीक है। और ये वाले सेंटेंसेस है ना बेटा, एक्सरसाइज ए वाले, इनको जरूर अपने सेंटेंस कंस्ट्रक्शन में यूज करना, इनके लाजमी सेंटेंसेस बनाना। मुझे अपनी दुआ में शामिल रखना, यहाँ पर जो मौजूद है सबको अपनी दुआ में शामिल रखना। मुसलमानों के लिए, पाकिस्तान के लिए खास दुआ रखना। अल्लाह हाफिज।